Hello everybody, welcome back to Transport Fever 2. I am Arctic Wolf and this is episode 13. In our last episode we connected Omaha, Overland Park, and Billings to our transportation network. In today's episode, Plano. We're going to hook the last city remaining into our transportation network, and we're going to do a little bit of continuation with this line. The past couple of episodes I've been just cutting to a time lapse, throwing some music down, and it's making the episodes a little bit shorter, and they seem to be doing better. So I'm going to keep doing that as long as it keeps showing results. If you guys prefer those kind of videos versus the kind of videos where I just place things down and then cut out all the movement of the camera and put fades in, let me know in the comments down below right now. Tell me, do you prefer the clip cut place in objects type videos like the first 11 in the series? Well, probably closer to the first 9, but or do you prefer the more recent type videos with the time lapse of me putting everything in and the music behind it? This one's going to be a time lapse with music, but I will respond to those comments. I'm looking for the feedback. I would really appreciate it if you guys let me know. But anyway, here we go. On with the building. And there we go. With that, all of our towns have a passenger train station and are connected to the network. And I even put a line between Overland Park and McKinney. So now to get from Billings to Overland Park is just three trains. You go to Kansas City, you go over to McKinney, you go down to Overland Park. You don't have to go in this big long loop around everything and come back up. McKinney has become our capital, at least as far as the central hub of activity on the map. It kind of lent itself to be that in position anyway. Like maybe Overland Park is a little more central, but with our first line being right here for transit, it just made sense to make this the big hub. But there we go. Passengers all the way around. We got a couple more. Like we could start working on all the different things now. It's only freight until we get the electric trains, and then we're going to have to rework the entire passenger network with electric trains. And that's what I'm going to go through. I'm going to pull out all the existing passenger network, leave what's in place for freight there, and we'll make a new passenger network that's straight point to point. Who cares about hills and mountains and valleys and stuff? Bridges and tunnels galore. It'll look great. It'd be for high-speed metro liners and the Zephyrs and stuff like that can handle the high-speed track. I turned up the date speed, but we're not getting very much upgrades, so we're going to turn that back all the way up to 1, and we're going to try to get to 1920 something. And we can get some airplanes going. That'll solve a lot of our logistics problems. Like we just hit $1 billion. So the financial problems are non-existent. Okay, so I'm looking at the stats screen here. It's very loud down here. Let me back up. I'm looking at the stats screen here. It says number of lines right there. 64 lines. And then it would go up here. Total tracks, I've got 72 miles of track laid down. My top speed is 62 miles an hour. Top length of a train is 1/3 of a mile. My oldest vehicle is 156. It says years, but that's your date payment cycle. If you got it set to a quarter, it's quarterly, but it still ticks up in here as years. That's why I can have something be 156 years old and only started the game 50 years ago. Assets, 1.1 billion. Liquidity, 1 billion. Yeah. All right. Well, if the goal was to be a billionaire, I mean, we did it. But that's not the goal. The goal is to connect everything to everything and then see how we do until we get to 2020 or 2050 or whenever this game stops giving me new stuff. I think its last upgrade is in 2020. But I wanted to get the full passenger network and the full cargo network in place as early as possible. And then it's all about maintenance and upgrading. So some questions for the comment section to round out this episode. How are we going to get machines and tools to Billings? Should we use a truck? Use a train? Wait till we have airplanes? We need to get grain to this food processing plant. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3 farms, 4 farms that we're not using. So we could tie them into here. Honestly, we're not going to need that much food, but we want to use everything, so we're going to do everything. So Do you guys want to see more of this kind of stuff where I just ride along with the trains? I've been cutting a lot of that out when I do it. I could do something like that. I could do an episode where we ride all the trains on a time lapse with music to it. Something similar to what Colonel Failure would call a Tracks and Beats episode. I was actually thinking about doing that for a grand finale for the end of this one. Once we got everything in, have a big long episode where I ride all the trains from point to point and time lapse it to some music. That could be cool. Go into an earlier save and get screenshots of all the different towns, and then do a fade to the new upgraded at the end of the game town. Yeah. I think that's going to be the final episode of this playthrough. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to do that. That's going to be cool. That's going to have to do it for today. Didn't really get a whole lot done. Mainly just doing maintenance and putting in passenger to Billings and then connecting McKinney to Overland Park. But I think the episodes where I don't do as much and they're not as long are actually performing better. It's probably easier to watch, easier to follow along with. But if you like this episode, hit the thumbs up button. If you like this playlist and my channel, hit the subscribe button. If you want to know when my videos come out next, hit the bell icon. And you wonderful people have a great day. And with that, Arctic Wolf out.